Everyone thinks they know the secret. Work harder, hustle more, save, invest, climb the ladder. Then maybe you'll feel wealthy. Maybe someday you'll feel successful. But what if that's the lie? What if waiting to earn before you feel rich is exactly what's keeping abundance away? Neville Goddard didn't teach wishful thinking. He taught something far more radical, that wealth isn't earned first, it's felt first. You don't grind until you become rich. You become rich inside, and then life reflects it. The outer world is just a shadow, the real substance. The power, the shift, starts within. Most people live in a loop. They chase money, success, status. They think the car will make them feel free. The house will make them feel safe. The title will make them feel worthy. But the chase never ends because they've built their lives on the wrong cause. They believe money brings the feeling. Neville turned that idea upside down. He said, change your conception of yourself and you will automatically change the world in which you live. It's not about doing more. It's not about proving yourself. It's about stepping into the identity that already owns it. Right now, in this video, you're going to learn the real mechanics behind Neville's millionaire energy. Not affirmations, not blind faith, but identity, how to claim it, live from it, and let it transform your reality. You'll understand why trying harder doesn't work when your inner state says, I'm not enough. Why imagination, not effort, is the most creative force you possess. Why the secret isn't found in stock charts or side hustles, but in the silence of your own consciousness. You'll also discover how Neville used a technique called SATS, state akin to sleep, to rewire the subconscious mind and bring massive results with no force, no struggle. You'll see why feeling as if is more powerful than any strategy, and how to stop waiting for signs and start acting like the version of you who already has everything. This isn't just about money. It's about freedom. It's about alignment. It's about breaking out of the system that says you must suffer before you succeed. You're not here to chase. You're here to remember who you really are. Watch this till the end, because every principle we uncover builds upon the last. And somewhere in this video, you'll hear the line or idea that shifts your entire perspective, that changes how you see yourself, that flips the switch from lack to power. So welcome to Ignis Mindset, where we unlock the deeper truths behind the mind, manifestation, and identity based on the timeless teachings of Neville Goddard. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and join us, because transformation isn't about waiting anymore. It's about remembering, and that journey starts now. Consciousness is the real currency, not the numbers in your bank account, not the possessions you own, but the state of being you carry within. Neville Goddard emphasized that your assumptions are like seeds. They always grow. When you assume wealth, abundance, and success, you plant these seeds in your consciousness, and your reality begins to reflect them. You don't attract what you want, you attract what you are. This means that to experience wealth, you must embody the feeling of being wealthy. It's not about desiring riches, but about feeling rich in your current state. This inner transformation sets the stage for external changes. Millionaire energy is an identity, not a goal. It's about being rich inside, regardless of your external circumstances. Neville taught that the outer world is just a mirror, reflecting your inner state. When you live from the identity of abundance, money and success follow naturally. Your inner conversations shape your world. The silent dialogues you have with yourself throughout the day reveal your true beliefs. By shifting your inner voice to align with wealth and abundance, your external reality must follow. Imagination is not fantasy, it's creation. Most people think imagination is for daydreamers. But Neville flips this notion. He teaches that what you persist in imagining becomes your world. By consistently visualizing your desired state, you bring it into existence. Assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Don't wish or want. Assume it's already done. Feel from the state, not toward it. The subconscious doesn't understand. Maybe it responds to conviction. Stop waiting, you already are. Many wait for a sign or breakthrough to believe they can change. Neville says you start with belief, not proof. The moment you claim the identity of the person you wish to be, life begins to bend around that. The power of sat state aking, to sleep, is about accessing the inner world. This is the moment before sleep, when the subconscious is most open. Use this time to live in the feeling of your fulfilled desire. Repeatedly doing this rewires your identity and reprograms your outer experience. Trying harder doesn't work. Most people keep doing more without changing their inner state. Neville's message is clear. You don't need more effort. You need a clearer assumption. Reality follows belief, not struggle. Remember who you are. You're not broken or missing anything. You've simply been taught to look outward. But the change, the power, the breakthrough, it's already within. Embrace these teachings and let your inner state of wealth manifest into your external reality. Live it before you earn it and watch as the world aligns with your inner abundance. Before we explore the external signs of wealth, the cars, the homes, the overflowing bank accounts, we must understand the invisible conversations that shape it all. Neville Goddard was clear on this. Your inner speech, the words you say to yourself when no one else is listening, is the blueprint of your future conditions. Every day, you are engaged in a dialogue with yourself. Sometimes it's loud, sometimes it's quiet, but it is always active. This dialogue determines the state of your being. What you assume in these inner talks becomes your identity. What you repeatedly affirm in your inner world becomes your outer reality. If your internal conversations are filled with lack, I don't have enough, I'll never make it, why is it always hard for me? Then lack becomes the world you live in. Neville said, your inner speech mirrors your mind, and your mind shapes your world. If your speech is filled with wealth, certainty, gratitude, and peace, then the world must reflect that. It must. That's the law. Millionaire energy isn't always loud. In fact, it's built in silence. It's constructed in those moments where doubt wants to enter, but you choose to speak fulfillment instead. When anxiety rises and you answer it within a calm. When fear appears and you respond with, I already have all that I desire. Neville taught that your assumptions harden into fact. So when you consistently carry an inner tone of abundance, not as a hope, but as a certainty, your outer life must bend to fit it. You no longer need to struggle to prove yourself or work to exhaustion to earn worth. You begin to create from identity, not insecurity. Now think of how a millionaire thinks, not just someone who has money, but someone who knows their wealth comes from within. Their inner conversation is simple. I always have more than enough. Opportunities flow to me effortlessly. I am wealthy in mind, in spirit, and in form. They don't argue with lack. They don't negotiate with fear. They don't debate with limitation. They speak as if it is already done. And this brings us directly to the next principle. Live from the end. Neville's technique of living in the end is one of the most powerful yet misunderstood ideas in his teachings. It's not about pretending or lying to yourself. It's about aligning your internal state with the reality you desire before it shows up in form. What would you feel if it were already true? Not tomorrow, not when your circumstances change. Right now, if you were already the wealthy, fulfilled, confident version of yourself, how would you walk into a room? How would you carry yourself in silence? How would you speak to others? How would you speak to yourself? When Neville said, assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, he meant it literally. You assume it, not analyze it, not study it, not wish for it. You take it on as your current state. You let the feeling of the fulfilled desire be your resting place. That feeling becomes the magnet that draws all matching conditions to you. To live in the end is to walk as if it's already done. If someone saw you on the street, they wouldn't see someone desperate for change. They'd see someone who already has everything they desire. even if your bank account hasn't caught up yet. Your inner bank is overflowing, and soon the physical must reflect the spiritual. This is not acting. This is not delusion. This is faith in action. This is living from the deeper truth that all creation begins in the unseen. Your imagination is the workshop. Your feelings are the tools, and your assumptions are the orders sent to the universe. Let's go deeper. If you truly believed you were already abundant, how would you treat time? Would you rush, panic, or would you trust that everything is working out in perfect rhythm? If you were already the person you're trying to become, how would you respond to setbacks? Would they shake you? Or would you see them as minor ripples in a much larger ocean of success? Neville emphasized the end creates the means. When you live from the end, life reorganizes itself to support your new identity. You don't need to know how. That's not your job. Your job is to live in the feeling. The rest follows. And here's the key, you must feel it consistently. Not just once a week, not just when you're inspired, every day. In those moments where your old story wants to take over, when worry creeps in, when fear says nothing's changing, you return to the end. You say, I already am. You speak it until you feel it. You feel it until it becomes real. And when it becomes real inside, it has no choice but to show up outside. This is millionaire energy. Not the kind built on hustle, but the kind built on identity. The kind that doesn't need to chase results because it already knows the outcome is secured. You stop asking, when will it happen? And start saying, it is happening now. You stop needing signs and start being the sign. You stop measuring progress with your eyes and start knowing with your spirit. Neville taught that the law responds to the feeling, not the words. So speak abundance inwardly. Yes, but feel it deeply. Let it settle in your bones. Let it be the rhythm of your day, the music of your thoughts, the background frequency of your life. This is not just motivation, it's transformation. Millionaire energy is not a destination, it's a state, and it starts with a decision to shift your inner world and live as if your dream is already real. Because the truth is, it already is. Feeling is the magnet. That's what Neville Goddard insisted. It's not the thought that creates, it's the feeling behind the thought. You can say 1,000 affirmations, but if they're empty, mechanical, lifeless, nothing moves. But the moment you feel them as true, something changes. Internally first, then externally. Wealth is not just a number or a possession. It's a feeling. It feels like calm, like trust, like ease. It feels expansive, open, free. That feeling is the real currency. The world, the conditions, the money, they come later. They follow the vibration. They follow the state. They follow the feeling. Neville taught that if you want to change your life, don't chase outcomes. Don't wait for things to change so you can feel better. Feel better and things will change. Feel as though it's already done. Act and think and move from the assumption that you already are the person you desire to be. This is the mistake most people make. They think the feeling comes after the fact, after the goal is achieved, after the money is in the bank, after the world shows them proof. But Neville flips that entirely. He says, you must feel it first. You must generate the feeling of success while standing in the middle of apparent lack. You must choose the feeling of freedom while still surrounded by limitations. This is what separates the conscious creator from the unconscious reactor. So how do you generate the feeling? You stop waiting, you stop asking, you stop doubting, and you start assuming. You start choosing. Neville taught that your inner world is not controlled by the outer world. It's the other way around. You can feel wealthy even if the bank account says otherwise. You can feel chosen even if you've been rejected. You can feel whole even if you've been broken. And once you do that, everything starts to move. The subconscious doesn't care if it's true. It only responds to the feeling of truth, the feeling that's repeated, the feeling that's repeated, The feeling you return to over and over. It doesn't argue, it accepts, and then it molds your life to match. That's why Neville said, assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, not think about it, not visualize it once and forget it. Feel it. Feel it deeply. Let it flood your senses. Let it become your new normal. And this is where imagination becomes the engine. Most people think imagination is just play, something for children, something separate from real life. But Neville said that imagination is life. It is the creative force behind everything that exists. Everything you see, every building, every invention, every song was first imagined. It lived in someone's inner world before it appeared in the outer one. When Neville spoke about imagination, he wasn't speaking metaphorically, he meant it literally. He taught that when you vividly imagine a scene, when you feel yourself inside it, when you taste it, touch it, hear it, and most importantly, feel it, you're planting a seed in the subconscious, and that seed must grow. He often used simple, short scenes, moments that implied the wish had already been fulfilled. A handshake, a congratulation, a letter received, a peaceful sense of completion. He repeated them especially during the drowsy state before sleep, what he called the state akin to sleep. In that state, the conscious mind relaxes and the subconscious becomes more receptive. That's when the real work is done. There are countless stories of people changing their lives with this method. Neville shared them often. A woman imagined her husband being kind again, and he changed. A man imagined himself employed after months of rejection, and within days he was another imagined traveling the world, though he had no money, and soon found himself invited on a paid journey. These were not fantasies. They were focused imaginations, repeated, felt, lived internally until the outer world conformed. Imagination, when used with feeling, becomes creation. Neville emphasized persistence. You can't do it once and expect instant results. You persist, not with effort, but with faith, with repetition, with commitment to the state. You return to the scene again and again. You don't change it based on what you see outside. You don't abandon it when results take time. You hold it. You trust it. You let the feeling become natural. Eventually, the feeling you once had to reach for becomes the feeling you live in. You no longer have to imagine being wealthy. You feel wealthy. Not because the world changed, but because you did. And once you change, the world cannot help but follow. That's the secret. The world mirrors you. It doesn't tell you what to feel. It shows you what you've been feeling. The moment you begin to live from the new state, life begins to take on a new form. Opportunities appear. People shift. Circumstances reconfigure themselves. But the shift began within. Neville taught that you are the operant power. Nothing happens unless you cause it to happen through your inner assumptions. You don't need permission. You don't need luck. You don't need perfect timing. You need one thing, the decision to feel as though it's already yours. Feelings are magnetic. They draw to you experiences that match. Not because of magic, but because life is governed by law. The law of assumption. The law that says what you assume to be true becomes your experience. So what are you assuming? Right now, without realizing it, you are assuming something about your worth, about your future, about money, about love, about success. And you are feeling something in response to those assumptions. That's the script you're living by. If you want a new script, you don't rewrite the world, you rewrite the feeling. You imagine a new scene, you assume a new identity, you feel a new truth, and you persist in it, quietly, confidently, repeatedly. Eventually, the world bends to the new frequency. This is not a hope, it's a law. Feeling is the magnet. Imagination is the engine. Combine them, and you hold the key to reality itself. The state akin to sleep, or SATS, is one of Neville Goddard's most powerful techniques. It is the moment just before you drift off into sleep, when your mind is relaxed, your body heavy, and your thoughts slow down. In this drowsy in-between state, the conscious mind's defenses are down, and the subconscious becomes wide open, ready to accept new impressions. Neville taught that this is the perfect time to impress your subconscious with the reality you desire, not the reality you see now, but the reality you want to create, the one where you are already wealthy, successful, and free. By replaying scenes in your mind as if your wish is already fulfilled, you are planting powerful seeds deep within your subconscious. Imagine yourself in a quiet room, lying down after a long day. Your body is heavy. Your mind is slowing. You begin to see a scene unfold in your imagination. Maybe it's a letter in your hand, confirming a large sum of money. Maybe it's a handshake with a business partner, or a moment where you look at your bank account and smile, knowing it reflects your true worth. You feel the peace, the satisfaction, the calm assurance that it has already happened. Neville emphasized that this is not just daydreaming or wishful thinking. It is a deliberate act of creation. The subconscious does not distinguish between real and imagined. It accepts what you feed it in this receptive state as truth. When you consistently feed it the feeling of wealth, abundance, and success before sleep, you begin to reprogram your entire inner world. This reprogramming is subtle but profound. Over time, your beliefs shift, your feelings shift, your natural expectations shift. You stop seeing yourself as lacking or struggling, and you begin to see yourself as naturally wealthy and capable. This shift inside must happen first, before the outer world can reflect it. The key is persistence. Night after night, replay your chosen scene, feel it with emotion and detail. Let it become your last conscious act before sleep. This is how you impress the subconscious deeply and permanently. The subconscious works silently and steadily. It reshapes your thoughts, emotions, and actions during the day, without you even realizing it. The outer world begins to align with the new reality you are living within. Now, detach from time and proof. This is crucial. Many people get caught up in when will it happen? Or show me a sign. They look outside for evidence and get frustrated when nothing changes quickly. Neville warned against this habit. Time is irrelevant in the realm of consciousness. You are not waiting for external conditions to align before your reality shifts. Instead, your assumption alone has already set everything in motion. What matters is the internal state you maintain, not the outer timeline. When you persist in feeling and imagining the wish fulfilled, you trust that the unseen forces are working on your behalf. You don't need to control the how or when. You don't need to keep asking for proof or signs. Trust is your job. Faith in your inner creative power is your job. Release the need to control external events. Let go of anxiety about the timing or the appearance of results. Neville said, faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. You must live in this faith. Act as though what you desire is already true, even when all visible evidence contradicts it. The world often moves slowly because it must realign itself to your new inner identity. People, circumstances, and opportunities all rearrange themselves in their own perfect timing to reflect your new state of being. Your job is to remain steady, calm, and confident in your assumption, to nurture the feeling, to return to your imagined scene regularly, especially in the state akin to sleep, to walk through life with the quiet knowing that it is done. When you stop chasing external proof and stop worrying about time, you free yourself from resistance and doubt. You allow the natural creative process to unfold smoothly and effortlessly. This detachment does not mean passivity. It means active trust. It means you do the inner work with conviction and leave the outer results to the natural flow of life. You are no longer a victim of circumstances. You are the conscious creator of your reality. Your inner world is sovereign, and your outer world will inevitably mirror it. This is the essence of Neville Goddard's teaching. The moment you learn to use the state hacking to sleep as your tool for transformation, and the moment you let go of time and external validation, you step into the power that has always been inside you. The power to create wealth, success, and freedom begins in the silent, sleepy moments, before sleep and grows, as you trust the unseen process, knowing your desire is already fulfilled within. Keep this truth close. Use it nightly. Feel the assurance deepen. Watch your world respond in ways you never imagined possible. You're not becoming something new. You're not growing into a rich person or slowly evolving into the person you want to be. That idea of gradual transformation is one of the most common misconceptions. Neville Goddard challenged. The reality is simpler and more profound. You already are who you want to be. You see, the journey isn't about becoming something you are not. It's about removing the blocks, the limiting beliefs, the false ideas that have kept you from recognizing the truth inside yourself. These blocks are like heavy curtains that have been drawn over a bright window. The light was there all along, but you simply couldn't see it. Neville taught that everything you desire, wealth, freedom, success, happiness, is already within you, existing as a seed of energy, waiting to be uncovered. This power is your true essence. It is not something you acquire from outside, nor is it something you need to earn through struggle or effort. It's your birthright. It's your natural state. Imagine for a moment that the rich, successful person you want to be is not some distant goal on the horizon. Instead, imagine that person already living within you, hidden beneath layers of doubt and fear. These layers are not you, they are just mistaken beliefs you have been carrying, often without realizing it. The key is to shift your awareness from the outside world to the inside world, to realize that your outer circumstances only reflect what you accept and believe within. When you change what you believe about yourself, your outer world must change accordingly. This is not a slow process of becoming, but a sudden awakening of what was always true. You're not learning to have power, you already have it. You're not learning to see wealth, you already see it. But the vision was clouded. The energy, the power, the vision, these are not things you get. They are things you remember. Neville said, man is all imagination, and God is man and exists in us, and we in him. This means the creative force, the divine spark, the source of all power. It is within you. Your imagination is not just a tool for dreaming, it is the very fabric of your reality. When you realize that you already embody the qualities of wealth and success, your imagination becomes a key that unlocks the door to your inner kingdom. This shift from I want to become to I already am changes everything. It rewires your mind. It reprograms your subconscious. It transforms your energy from one of lack and longing to one of fullness and fulfillment. When you live from this place, you no longer struggle to manifest wealth or success. You simply recognize that these things are already yours because you are aligned with them at your core. The outer world responds naturally because it is only mirroring your inner state. Removing blocks is an act of conscious awareness. It requires identifying the negative self-talk, the doubts, the fears, and the stories you tell yourself about why you can't have what you want. These stories are false, but they feel real because they have been repeated for so long. You are invited to examine these stories, to question them, and to replace them with the truth of who you are. Instead of thinking, I am not enough, begin to affirm, I am enough. Instead of believing, I must work hard to earn wealth, know that wealth is my natural state. This process is not about forcing or pushing. It's about gentle, loving recognition that you are whole, complete, and powerful. It's about turning your attention inward and allowing the real you to emerge. You're not climbing a ladder. You're peeling away the layers of illusion, like a statue hidden beneath layers of marble. Your true self waits to be revealed. This is why Neville's teaching is so liberating. It removes the endless chase, the constant feeling of not yet. Instead, it places the power firmly in your hands here and now. The energy that creates empires, the confidence that attracts opportunity, the vision that guides success. These have always been in you. You just need to stop blocking them. This understanding invites you to rest in your true nature, to stop struggling to become, and start allowing yourself to be, to feel the power that already pulses within you. As you let go of the old patterns, you will notice a shift. Your thoughts become clearer, your feelings become lighter, your actions become more aligned, doors open, opportunities appear, wealth flows, success unfolds naturally. This is not magic or luck. It is the natural result of living from the truth of who you are. You're not becoming wealthy. You are uncovering the wealth that has always existed inside you. You're not building confidence. You're removing the fear that blocked your natural boldness. You're not finding power. You're remembering your true identity as a creator. Neville's teachings point to this deep inner truth, that your reality is a reflection of your self-concept. When you understand that you are not becoming but already are, you change the foundation of your reality. This is the essence of transformation. Not acquiring something new, but awakening to the reality that you already hold the power, the energy, and the vision inside. It's time to stop chasing and start knowing. Stop searching and start recognizing. Stop hoping and start being. You are already rich, already powerful, already the person you want to be. Now it's just a matter of removing the obstacles that cloud your vision. When you remove the blocks, the path becomes clear. The way opens up. The life you imagined flows effortlessly. This is the true meaning of Neville Goddard's teaching. The power to create the life you desire has always been inside you. You are not becoming, you already are. Now it's your turn. Start living today from that millionaire energy right now in this moment. Step fully into the feeling of already having the wealth, the success, and the freedom you desire. Which principle from this video hit you the deepest? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I want to hear what awakens something inside you. If you found value here, please like this video and subscribe to Ignis Mindset for more powerful teachings that transform your inner world and your life. Remember this, you're not waiting for wealth to arrive. Wealth is waiting for you to show up as the one who already has it.